Okay, first we want to thank everyone so much for being here. We've got everything from parents to instructors to the judges to the contestants who make the finals to contestants from earlier on today. So first of all, just give everyone a big hand for just being here. They think they've got something exciting going on in Louisville today, but the real competition is in this room. It's not the race for the roses, but there is a cash prize. This is the inaugural event of our John Line Communication Speech Excellence. We're doing it both for the speakers in COM 145 and in COM 61. This is the first time we've done it, and we'll be talking a little bit more about the finalists here in a minute. But we wanted to talk and give you a sense of why we put this together award. And John Line is somebody who has a strong history and past in here. Just to first start out giving you a sense of that, and then I'll go over the kind of the pragmatics of how we're going to run all of that. So before we get started with all that, I want to invite our department head up. This is her first year here, and she's just brought so much energy to our department and was really probably a leader of why this event is happening here today. Her name was Dr. Helen Stirk, and we're so happy if you can give her a hand, and then she's going to tell you a little bit about the award.
Well, I'm pretty excited to be here. This is a wonderful event, and thank you all for coming. And parents who are here, I just know this is exciting for you, and instructors as well. And those of you who competed, please put this on your resume. Every single one of you was chosen out of your section in order to be the one speaking today. So whether you're a finalist doesn't matter. Every single one of you was a finalist out of your section. So put that on your resume. And I'm going to make a little pitch. The high quality of your presentations and your talents means that you're pretty darn gifted in communication. I want to encourage you to consider communication as a major. And if you already have a major, and you go, I already have a major, I go, fine, get a second major, get another major. Communication certainly is a great major to go along with partnering with many, many other kinds of majors. Okay, well, I'd like to first start out by thanking Blair Thompson. Blair has been just such a strong worker for this. He's the director of the basic course, and he is the chair of our undergraduate committee, so he takes care of all things related to this. And we had great help from the forensic program. They were the ones who judged for us in the opening rounds, and so we thank the forensic program as well. But I'd like to tell you about John Line, because he's kind of a character. And I'm telling you, I love characters, a little bit on the goofy side. I love people a little bit on the goofy side. Now, he graduated in 1971 from Western Kentucky with a double major in speech and philosophy. And when he was an undergrad, he won what was called the Ogden Oratorical Contest. And he tells me that's one of the reasons why he wanted to be a donor for this contest. And he has donated the money for the top awards for this contest. He never forgot what it was like to win that Ogden Oratorical Prize. He debated with the forensic team, and he said the highlight of his forensic life was that he and his debate partner won a tournament at NYU, so he thought that's pretty cool. He was a columnist for the Herald, and he served as the student government president while he was here. He also, he tells me, it's a little tiny bit of a rabble-rouser. This was during the Vietnam era, and I understand he was involved in a couple of protests. Now, during his senior year, he represented the student body on the Board of Regents. He was a student member. And in order to do that, he had to swear an oath that he had never fought a duel. And John tells me he's glad that the oath was administered early enough in his life so he didn't have to lie about that. I'm sure he's committed many duels since then. So I understand that all state officials still have to take that oath, which makes Kentucky kind of an interesting place. After earning a master's degree at University of Texas at Austin and a PhD, just not to show what it looked like. Pardon me. So this was John when he was a student here at Western, and the columnist, I think that's his student body president one. I love the mutton chops. He's got some serious whiskers going on there. And here he is leading one of the student government meetings. And here's what he looks like now. He's got a great laugh. Anyway, so after earning his master's at UT Austin and his PhD at Wisconsin, and according to Carl Kell, he is the first PhD to come out of the communication, what was known as the speech department, at that time. So we think that's pretty cool. John took his first academic position at Iowa, where he served as professor and chair for many years. And that's where we met. I earned my master's degree here in 1979, and I started my PhD work in 1980. And John was the first person I met. He was assigned to me as my advisor. And he said, "Where did you get your master's?" And I said, "Well, it's just the, I'm sure you never heard of it. It's the Western Kentucky University." He goes, "I was the student body president." And we just hooted, because neither of us, thought we would run into someone that was so near and dear to Western Kentucky when we were at Iowa. That was his first academic position. He served as a professor and a chair there for many years. Now, your program has a little blurb about him on the back, and it says he's at the University of Pittsburgh. He's been chair and director of grad studies there, and he is on the faculty of both the Comm School and also bioethics and health law. And at Pitt, he won the Provost Award for Excellence in Mentoring for his mentoring of national award-winning dissertations. And I reminded him that I was his first rhetoric dissertation. The day before I defended my dissertation, a theater person defended and had John as her advisor. So I was his first rhetoric diss, and I was his first national award winner because I won the Shiras Kramer Award for my dissertation. So anyway, he started out with a bang. His published work is primarily in the rhetoric of inquiry, rhetorical theory, argumentation. And we're taping this little speech because we're sending it to John. He wishes he could be here. He had his wisdom teeth taken out yesterday. He said they took the teeth and left the wisdom. Anyway, we want John to know we appreciate his support. We thank him for his generosity. So please join me in thanking him with our applause. Thank you, John.
Well, I'm glad they don't have that dual rule for the speech contest, because I had quite a battle with the copy machine this morning. I could have used a sword for that. Okay. I want to introduce the judges, and then we'll get moving on. We'll start with the competition. We're actually going to do the COM 145 first, and then we'll do the COM 161 last, and then we'll go in that same exact order. So contestants, you know now the order that you'll be speaking in. Before that, I want to introduce our esteemed judging panel first. I am on it. As she said, Blair Thompson and I oversee our the COM 145 and 161, and it's been exciting to see I've been dealing with your names all the last week or so as they've been coming in for the contest, and it's finally nice to see that there are actually people behind those names. And we're very, very proud of the work that you've done, and again, whether you're a finalist or not, just the fact that you were entered, you were the top in your section, so you should be very, very proud of that. In terms of the rest of our judges, you already met Dr. Stark. Our next is the esteemed Carl Kell. He is one of our nearest dearest to our hearts. His loyalty to this university is perhaps unparalleled, and love for it. If you've, I don't know, many of you probably have had a chance to have him in class, but he has certainly had such a big part of the development of this department over the years, and we're very, very proud to have Dr. Kell here. He was when we said we were going to have the celebrity judge panelist, he was one of the first that we thought of that we need to have Carl Kell here. So if you can give him a hand to start with. In the back row, we have Eldon Renault. We wanted to bring in someone really who had high prowess in the community overall in Bowling Green. Eldon is the president of the UAW for the Corvette division, and he brings a lot of expertise from the business world into here, and we wanted to have that represented very strongly within the finalist panel. And I know he's very excited to see this speech, and we're very honored to have him here. So. And last but not least, the esteemed dean of our college, of Potter College, David Lee. We are honored to have him here. We thought it would be a good idea to have the dean to come in and see some of our students speak. And he was going to say just a brief word here about the competition and the connection to Gen Ed, I believe.
Absolutely. A couple of things. First of all, I am really delighted to see so many students from both the Bowling Green and the Glasgow campus as part of this competition. I think that's a wonderful kind of bringing together those two campuses, and that's a wonderful thing. I really appreciate Professor Lyon's gift to this competition to kind of help us set this in motion, because this class, these two classes, 145 and 161, are classes that are so important that the faculty of this university, not just in this department of this college, but the faculty all across the university decided that every student ought to take one or the other of these two classes. And I think that's an eloquent testimony of how important these classes are in terms of your undergraduate experience and in terms of the kinds of things many of you are going to be doing in your professional lives beyond your time here at WKU. So particular thanks to Professor Lyon for bringing this together, and Blair Thompson for all the logistics with it. And congratulations to everybody who's here today.
And with all of our introductions, we can now begin the competition. I think we're all pretty excited. I know the contestants are probably excited. We're going to start out with COM 145, and I'll just read up names. Shawnee Wells, Ashley Stillwell, Holly Martin, Erica Wood. If you all would just stand up so we can give you a round of applause. And make sure you're here. It's a great honor. 145 had 22 contestants, and these were the top 4, and I can tell you, you essentially needed to win your early rounds to be in here. I think that maybe a second place, but that was it. You had to be really at the top in terms of that. And if you're, so that everybody's on the same page, the speech that they are going to be giving on it's a 5 to 6 minutes problem solution persuasive speech is what we're looking at here. We'll do all 4 of those first, and then we'll do the same. We'll get all of those ranked, and then we will move to 161, and after we get that, we'll do all 3 words all at once. Okay? Thank you again, everyone, for being here.
What if you rolled into the gas station today and the sign read $8 a gallon? But that's not the price of gas. No, that's the current price of Dasani bottled water. Whether or not you believe that bottled water has an impact on the environment, it does have a direct impact on your wallet. I have done research and number crunching about bottled water, and I think you'll be surprised at the results. Today, I will show how using reusable water bottles is better for the environment and your budget. Today, we will cover the environmental damage and the exorbitant cost of bottled water and what you can do to avoid them both. To start with, disposable water bottles are bad for the environment. Not only do they use valuable resources, but they also trash our landfills. Saylor, Procopi, and Amberg, in their 2011 article, What's Wrong with the Tap?, explained that most disposable water bottles are made from fossil fuels in a plastic called PET, or polyethylene terephthalate. In Alex Williams' article, Water, Water Everywhere, but Guilt by the Bottleful, published in the New York Times in 2007, it took 1.5 million barrels of oil to produce all of the PET bottles that Americans consumed that year. PET bottles also clutter our landfills, causing centuries of delayed breakdown. Saylor, Procopi, and Amberg describe, quote, mountains of plastic bottles accumulating in landfills around the world. An estimated 50 to 90% of PET bottles end up in landfills, leaching toxic chemicals into the environment, according to Alan Britnell's 2007 article, All Wet. But maybe you're not an environmentalist, or maybe landfills seem too far away to make a personal impact on you. If this describes you, then please listen up, because the next point is for you. The price of bottled water is astronomical. It is exponentially more expensive than tap water. A 20-ounce bottle of Dasani water costs $1.29 from the Minute Mart on Russellville Road. This calculates to $8 for a gallon of water. On my most recent water bill from the Warren County Water District, 1 gallon of water cost 4/10 of a cent. That's 4/10 of 1 penny. Now, Coca-Cola and Pepsi companies who distribute Dasani and Aquafina respectively admit in Alan Britnell's 2007 article, All Wet, that they fill PET bottles with filtered tap water. This is a markup on tap water of almost 200,000%. But let's look at this another way. What if you just bought one bottle of Dasani water every day for a year? That's going to cost you $470. The same amount of tap water, 23 cents. What can you do with an extra $470? By doing the math, we can clearly see the exorbitant cost of bottled water over tap. Next, I would like to look at a common myth that bottled water is safer than tap water. Saylor, Procopi, and Amberg found that most people that choose bottled water, especially women, do so because they think it is safer or purer, when in reality, people in general are not aware of or misunderstand the regulations surrounding water. Saylor, Procopi, and Amberg explain that the Food and Drug Administration regulates bottled water, whereas the Environmental Protection Agency regulates tap water. The EPA has higher quality standards and more frequent monitoring than the FDA. To further illustrate the importance of this, Sean Raj, in his 2005 article, Bottled Water, How Safe Is It?, performed a scientific experiment. It found that after one sip out of bottled water, bacteria from the mouth grew very rapidly. The same sip from tap water showed minimal growth in the same amount of time. This can put special populations at risk for infection, including people who have cancer, the elderly, and infants. But lastly, I would like to talk about a safer and easy solution that we can all do to reduce the giant mountains of plastic bottles and the drain on our wallets. We can use refillable water bottles and fill them with tap water. Reusable water bottles are a one-time purchase that pays out over and over again. What little inconvenience you may have in filling the water before leaving the house is just minor compared to the impact that you'll have on the earth. And as we've already seen, tap water is so much more affordable and safer for daily drinking. It's a mere fraction of the cost. At Amazon.com, reusable water bottles come in a variety of styles, colors, and sizes. They range in price from $1 to $20 and come in trusted names like